I can give this to you. I can give you love freely. I can give you attention freely. I can give you resources freely because I have it to give. I'm not operating from a place of lack. I have it to give, so I can give it freely. I give it freely and I receive it freely. So it's only right to give it freely. Hey y'all, welcome to Spoken Like a True Goddess podcast, a space curated for goddesses worldwide, where we embrace our true femininity, elevate our confidence, and walk into the beautiful and abundant lives we were destined for. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Before we get into today's episode, if you could please subscribe, like, and comment. If you're listening from any of the podcast streaming platforms, if you could please follow and leave a 5-star review. Interacting with the video does beautiful things for the algorithm and allows us to connect with more women like us. This week, we're going to get into abundance. We're going to break down what abundance really is and how to attract more of it into your life. So whether you're new to the concept of abundance or you're seasoned and just need a refresh on your mindset, we're going to go into ways on how to shift your mindset, how to remove blocks, and how to walk into the abundant lives that we are destined for. Abundance is not all about money. Although very important, you usually have to practice abundance in all aspects of your life in order to have money flow freely. So you have to practice an abundant mindset. You have to be abundant in spirit, abundant in resources, abundant in energy, abundant in love, abundant in kindness. When you practice abundance in every area of your life, you'll notice that money and opportunities will naturally flow to you easily and effortlessly. I was introduced to the concept of abundance in around 2014. When this concept was brought to me, I honestly had no idea what abundance was, what mindset was, what any of these concepts were, but I was very, very intrigued. Like many people, I was not aware how to change your mindset to attract more abundance, and even that it was possible for me. So I remember when I started learning about this, I was on YouTube searching different things and really trying to get into or understand what abundance was and how can I attract more. When I was researching, mindset was the first thing that was coming up. So very early in my journey, I knew that I had to increase my mindset and I had to change how I was going about things in order to match the frequency of the life that I want. I'm a strong believer of how you do one thing is how you do all things. In this case, when I was on this journey of attracting abundance into my life, I started with very small and micro habits. One thing that I did was when I would go grocery shopping, for example, I will only buy the things that I truly wanted. I was in my early 20s, so I was still learning how to take care of myself on my own, how to budget money and things like that. Whenever I would go grocery shopping, I will buy very small things at a time. I will buy off-brand things and things of that nature. So what I started doing when I decided to go on this journey of abundance and raising my frequency and changing my mindset is I would only buy things that I actually wanted. For example, if I wanted Coke, I'm not going to buy Shasta. If I picked up chicken and it was $9.83, I'm not going to put it back for chicken that's $9.53. I will only get the things that I actually wanted. If I wanted something and I couldn't afford it at that time, I would just not get it at all. I would just wait until I could actually afford it. But I stopped negotiating my needs and my wants. I stopped negotiating what I desired. I stopped putting things that I actually desired on the back burner. I started believing that I actually deserved it, and I was training myself to be patient enough to wait until it appeared. At the end of the day, if you want to attract more abundance into your life, you have to stop doing broke shit. And it's as simple as that. You can't expect to raise to the frequency of the things that you desire while living in scarcity or having a scarcity mindset by being fearful of thinking the things that you want don't exist or you're not deserving of them. In order to change your mindset, you have to understand your mindset. A lot of us live in scarcity and have no clue. We have no clue because it's all that we've ever been exposed to. It's all that we ever known. And we haven't seen anything different from it. So we have nothing to compare it to. Sometimes we are so comfortable living this way that we have no clue that there's something different or better out there for us. So let's talk about a scarcity mindset versus an abundant mindset. The core belief of a scarcity mindset is that there's not enough, that there's a shortage, that there's never enough of what you need. Usually people who operate in scarcity, they're very competitive. They're competitive with resources because they believe that there's a shortage of it. There's not enough. So they're usually very competitive. They're usually very eager when it comes to money, resources, and opportunity. They usually believe they have to work very hard or they have to do very tough things to get what they desire. They're highly competitive when it comes to resources. You'll also notice that they have a fear-based mindset, a fear of missing out, of losing out, a fear of there's never enough, a fear of not being good enough. They usually put a high focus on what they're missing versus what they have. So you'll hear a lot of, oh, well, this is good, but oh, well, things will be better when this happens and things like that. They're never usually grateful for the things that are presented to them and the things that are in front of them. These people usually have a very hard time with adapting to new situations or changing. They usually think that a lot of situations won't happen for them or it's too good to be true. So they don't take the risk because a lot of times they feel like, okay, this is too good to be true. Why would something good happen to me? Or why would something good happen for me? So they're usually very pessimistic in those situations and miss out on opportunities that would give them the very thing or the very lifestyle that they're desiring. They have a hoarding mindset. They're always trying to keep things close and not have them circulate and not have things move because they don't believe they'll get more. And this goes for everything, for money, for opportunities, love, time. It goes from different aspects in their lives. So it's always like a hoarding, or it's a not enough, or it's very scarce, very tight. They operate from a place of, okay, let me hold on to this just in case. Just in case it runs out, I'll have an ace in the hole. They're usually very uncomfortable with sharing, with giving on any aspect, with circulating money, circulating their time, their energy, love. When you have a scarcity mindset, your mindset is like that in many areas of your life. People who operate in scarcity often feel jealous of friends' success or when good things happen to other people instead of inspired because they believe it can't happen to them. There's not enough success. There's not enough good to go around. So it offends them. It makes them feel bad. It's something that they wish they had, but they believe they can't have it. They usually stay in toxic relationships, toxic friendships, toxic work environments with that fear that nothing better will come along. Well, what if this is as good as it gets? Let me just keep this just in case. Oh, this is better than nothing. So they usually have that mindset of not able to let things go and let things be with knowing that something better is on the horizon because they're not believing that they deserve good things. And toxic people have a field day with people who operate in scarcity because if you don't think that you can have better or deserve better, then they know that they could treat you any type of which way and you're not going nowhere because you don't have the confidence or the esteem to go nowhere. And they could continue to feed that fear that this is as good as it gets for you. People who operate in abundance, people who operate in hope, they are toxic people's worst nightmare because they cannot be controlled. They know that if this doesn't work, there is something that's better aligned with me out there. The core belief for an abundant mindset is there's more than enough for me and for everyone. So people who operate in abundance, they're very free. They're very free with their time, with their energy, with their love, with their money. Everything is in circulation because they know that what I give out will come back in. There's more than enough to go around. So when you meet someone who operates in abundance, they usually have a faith-based mindset versus a fear mindset that people who operate in scarcity have. They have a faith knowing that everything is working out for me. They trust that more opportunities will come. They trust that they deserve good things and that God and the universe is working to make these good things happen for them. So even if they lose, they believe that they're always winning. They keep this mindset even after a loss. People who operate in abundance, they celebrate and they collaborate. So when someone else wins, that inspires them. That inspires them to do better. They want to learn from this person, in return want to also do better. So seeing someone doing great, seeing someone doing better than them inspires them to collaborate with them, inspires them to do more. They don't feel like, oh, okay, it's only enough success for this person. They know, hey, if this person can do it, I can do it too. They operate in gratitude, in deep, rich gratitude. They're more of a glass half full type of person. No matter what's going on around them, they always see the opportunity. They always see the glass half full. They are always present and in the moment and grateful for what is being presented to them at this time. Gratitude is honestly the foundation of abundance. To have an abundant mindset, to operate in abundance, you have to be grateful. You have to have gratitude for what is in front of you right then and have hope that more is coming. People who operate in abundance, they also have a growth mindset. They believe in growth. They believe in being a beginner. They believe in self-evolution. They know that as they grow, more opportunities will meet them there. They're open to trying new things. They're open to more opportunities. They're open to just the greatness and how good life can get. And they also share freely. They share freely without getting depleted because they know how to fill themselves back up. There's always more than enough. When they give their money, their time, their energy, their effort, they know exactly where to go to get more of that. So you'll notice people who have an abundant mindset, they usually are very kind and they usually have a lot of themselves to give because it's an excess, it's an abundance. I can give this to you. I can give you love freely. I can give you attention freely. I can give you resources freely because I have it to give. I'm not operating from a place of lack. I have it to give, so I can give it freely. I give it freely and I receive it freely. So it's only right to give it freely. So how do you attract abundance into your life? How do you reset and elevate your mindset to attract abundance with ease and flow? For one, abundance is a very spiritual practice. In many spiritual practices, you give something and then you receive something. So even in Christianity, for example, in the Old Testament, people gave animal as sacrifice and they received something in return. In the New Testament, God gave his only begotten son and we received eternal life. So that is a very standard practice of attracting abundance and elevating your mindset and operating at these frequencies. So if you find yourself having a hard time of being in a constant flow and constantly attracting great things into your life, then go back to the basics. There are basic principles and laws that this world and the universe operate by. One of those being giving freely and then you receive freely. You cannot operate in abundance while hoarding, while thinking there's not enough, by only wanting to receive, but don't like to give. That's just not the law. That's just not the principle. So if you want to live in abundance, if you want to live in a constant state of flow and ease, then you have to get comfortable with giving freely and keeping your heart open to receive freely. Secondly, you have to operate in excess. Your mindset has to be, I have it to give, so I'm going to give it. You have to know that there's no lack. The universe doesn't understand lack. There's always more. How things are set up is always evolving. So you have to match that frequency. You have to operate at that level. Change your mindset to believe, hey, I have enough so I can give. I'm operating in access. There's no lack here. There's more than enough. And I love to give it freely. When you operate like this, you raise your frequency so you can attract larger situations. If you can't give freely with a little, then you're not going to feel comfortable to give freely with a lot. A lot of times we have this mindset, oh, okay, if we have more, then we'll do more. But that's just not how it works. You have to understand, when you make more money, you're also giving out more money. When you make more money, you're paying more in taxes. When you make more money, you have a higher overhead. You're paying more in monthly expenses. So if you're not comfortable with giving and circulating money, you're not going to ever get to that level. So if you have a hard time giving $1,000 away freely, if you have a hard time giving $5,000 away freely, you'll never get to that point where you have the trust, the faith to give away $1,000,000 and expect it to come back. When you're at that phase of not quite having that much money, you have to elevate your mindset to still operate like you do. If an opportunity presents itself, if there's a course and the course is $300, but you're afraid, okay, if I spend this $300, what if this, what if that, what if this? But that course could give you some knowledge to get to the next level. Why not give it? So you have to think of money in terms of exchange. Train yourself to not let price discourage you. Don't let the price of something discourage you, but think of it more as an exchange. Okay, I'm exchanging this to receive this. I'm giving this to get this. Thirdly, you want to take care of who takes care of you. This is really something that needs to be discussed, because people don't take care of people like they used to. Like, everyone is always after self and very short term in thinking, that they don't really take care of the people who takes care of them and who makes their life run better. Take care of the people who solves problems for you. Take care of the people who makes your life easier. If you can solve a huge problem for me, then I don't mind paying you for it, and I don't mind taking care of you for solving that problem for me. For example, I have a cleaner who comes and clean my space. She does a great job. There's never any issues. There's never any problems. Everything's done great. I never have to go behind her and do anything. That solves a huge problem for me, because I could spend that time doing things that I better enjoy. So I don't mind paying that premium or that price for that, because it's solving a huge problem for me. I want to take care of her. I'm excited to take care of her because that solves a huge problem for me. I value that service, so I pay the price for that service. So you want to think of money as that. It's just an exchange for your desires, for your ease, for your comfort, and for things of that nature. Evaluate money on how it makes you feel. The problem it solves for you, not how much it physically is. The next way is to activate your receptive feminine energy. The lucky thing about being a woman, and not only being a woman, but being a woman who operates in her feminine energy, is that feminine energy and abundance goes hand in hand. A lot of the natural traits we have as feminine women are what we need to attract abundance in our life. Being receptive, operating in ease and flow, those things are the basis of abundance. And if you're already operating your feminine energy, you have a much easier time of attracting abundance and opportunities into your life. So get comfortable with having people do things for you. Get comfortable with receiving things and not feeling like you have to return the favor immediately. And you can start really small with things like this. If you're at the grocery store and there's something high up, ask someone to get it for you. If you're having a hard time doing something, ask for help or be open to receiving that help. There's very small ways for you to activate that receptivity. I'm a very lucky person, and I have no issue with receiving. Like, I never feel guilty at all for receiving things. I remember this one time I was at work. I was working at a restaurant at this time. Like, I was hosting at a restaurant. And okay, I come in for my shift, whichever the case, and a customer who was already seated before I got there, somehow he came up to the host stand. And when he came out, we just started talking. Like, we were just having a great time. We were so different, but we had like so much in common. Like, we were just having a great conversation. So he goes back, he finishes his meal. And when he was leaving out, he just handed me $300. He was just like, oh, here, And I looked, I'm like, oh my God, like, thank you so much. And he's like, yeah, it was nice talking to you and all this other stuff. Like, he didn't ask me for my phone number. He didn't make me feel weird or anything. Like, he just genuinely enjoyed our conversation. He had it to give and he just gave it and just went about his business. Like, I never seen that man again. Lucky stuff like that happens to me all the time. Like, people always want to give me things and do things for me. And I really believe it's because of that principle. I also give very freely. Like, I'm very giving of myself. I know how to make people feel good. I know how to make people feel appreciated. I'm very kind. I'm very giving of my resources, giving of my energy, giving of my love, giving of my time and my attention. So I'm naturally in that vibration to also receive very freely. And it was so funny with that story because the server had came up and I was like, oh my God, would you believe, like, your customer, he gave me $300 when he left. And he was like, what? I've been waiting on him for hours and he only gave me like 150 or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know. But we was just joking about that. It was like, I didn't even do anything for it. Like, I was genuinely just there. Like, we had a brief conversation. But yeah, things like that happen to me a lot. I keep a check that I received one time in my journal. So it's a check, it's a $30 check. It's not a big check, but I keep it in my journal because it also reminds me of that principle I live by. It was my friend's birthday. So I'm like, okay, I wanted to do something nice for her. Okay, her birthday's coming up. And something strong was just telling me, like, you should do something nice for her. So I'm like, okay, so I set up something just thoughtful for her. Like, she's my friend. Her birthday comes. She's appreciative. She's grateful. Okay. And then I check my mail, which I don't even check my mail often, but I'm like, okay, like, I got some mail. I open it and it was a check. And it was this check for $30. And it was like, oh, you overpaid for something. So, like, here's, the difference or whichever. When I opened it and I seen it and I read the letter, like, it literally just filled my heart up because I'm like, this is what I believe in. I wholeheartedly believe that when you just operate in giving freely, you receive freely. Opportunities and things will come from nowhere. Of course, she's my friend. I love my friend, but I didn't necessarily have to do that. But it's like, that's what I believe in. I believe in taking care of people and making people feel good, showing my appreciation to people. And I'm able to do that so freely because I get so freely. So it's just this cycle of like, okay, yeah, I have excess, I have it to give. And because I operate in access, I also get it very freely. You want to think of money as numbers, as a resource, as a medium to exchange and get what you want. Because that's all money really is. It's just numbers. And that's what I love most about money becoming more digital. We don't really have tangible cash. We have our direct deposit. It goes into our bank account. And from our bank account, we use our phone or we use a card or we have our bills on auto pay. Like, it's very digital. So all you need to think about money is, how can I just make the digits go up? They're just numbers. And I feel like money being digital like that, it expands your mindset. Like, it's not so dense. All you have to do is create more numbers in that account. So what can you do to create more numbers? And you create these numbers to get to a point where you can exchange it for ease, for comfort, for your desires. One of my favorite affirmations that I'm constantly telling myself is that money flows to me easily and effortlessly. That's how I like to think about money. I don't make a big deal about money. Yes, I'm responsible with my money. I plan for the future and things like that. But I don't make a big deal on how I earn money. I look for ease, I look for comfort, and I just have a lot of faith in knowing that everything that I need is going to be provided for me. But I'm not the type of woman to go out and do very hard and harsh things for money. You'll notice people who view money that way, people who view money as something hard, they never seem to have any. It's like they're always on this chase. They're always on this grind. And it's such a terrible relationship. It's all they talk about. They're very obsessed over it, but they never have enough of it. That's why it's very important to raise to that frequency of money flowing easily and effortlessly, and then it will appear. When you raise your frequency, when you increase your mindset, then you'll naturally come in contact with money. You'll see that you don't have to work so hard for it. You don't have to go against the grain for it. You don't have to drive yourself crazy or do things that make you uncomfortable for money, because it's in excess, it's out there. So just call it to you. Don't act thirsty for money. Don't let money be your master. You master money. You control the money. You call it to you. I worked with this very thirsty girl, and she was very unpleasant. So that's why I'm talking bad about her. Like, she was so unpleasant and so mean. But besides that, she was very thirsty. She will always be grinding hard, working 3 jobs, making a big deal, always talking about money, always taking travel assignments and going here and there, and just crazy. Like, she's always thinking and doing something and trying to make things work and all. It was just crazy. Besides her having a really bad attitude in general, she had a very bad relationship with money. And I could tell it, and we weren't even close. Like I said, she's always all over the place, always looking for a better opportunity. What can she do to get this, to do this? Always thinking she's smarter than everybody and smarter than everything. Just very weird energy. And it was so funny, and not funny in a haha way, but like funny in an ironic way, that she thought she was smarter than everybody. She's always feeling like she has like a master plan. And she played herself so royally at the job we were at. Like, she played herself out of the job. It was the most insane thing that I've ever seen. This person who's so thirsty, who's trying to work 3 jobs, who's trying to play the system, who's trying to do this, this, and this, and hold on to this while she's doing this, and like literally played herself out of the whole opportunity because she's just so thirsty. And that's why I feel like people who operate like that, people who have that like scarcity mindset when it comes to money, thinks they have to hoard it and work hard for it, and it's like this big thing in their life, they always play themselves because they have a terrible relationship and attitude towards money. You don't have to do all of that for money. You can be consistent, be diligent, and money will flow to you. The real work is getting your mindset to that place of abundance, to that frequency of abundance. And once you're at that frequency, once you live there, the money's going to come. And you're going to even understand that when you get there, money is probably one of the last things that you really care about. You're abundant in health. You're abundant in peace. You're abundant in love. If you're someone who struggles with money and have a very scarce mindset when it comes to money, the first step you want to do is work on your mindset of abundance. What you do have, be a good steward of that. But you don't have to work yourself crazy and do all these things. Next, you have to pay the energetic price for what it is that you desire. You can't expect to receive something that you haven't paid the energetic price for. Most times, it's not that manifesting is not working. Is that you haven't quite aligned yourself with what it is that you're asking for. You have to match the energy of what it is that you want. You can't operate in low vibrations and expect high vibrational results. You can't operate in fear and scarcity and lack, but expect abundance. It just simply does not match. Have you ever had the radio on, and on the radio is different signals coming in, different stations coming in? That's how it is when you're manifesting from a level that you haven't quite reached energetically. It's like, I see you talking, I could kind of hear you, but it's like it's not connecting. It's not coming through. So when you want something, you have to match the energetic or the vibrational price for that. You'll always chase and grind until you position yourself energetically. Once you're positioned energetically, you'll naturally attract and be a vibrational match for the things that you truly desire. They'll easily flow to you. And that's the real work. The real work is to match what you desire. So invest in nicer things, invest in your environment, invest in things that raise your frequency, that opens your mind to things you couldn't even imagine. Proximity is very important. For example, if you had the opportunity to get a studio apartment in a highly desirable neighborhood that will put you around people who can help expand your mindset versus getting a 3-bedroom in a neighborhood that wasn't inspiring, wasn't very desirable, you should always pick the studio apartment. And the reason why I say that is because proximity is extremely important. Being around that energy raises your energy and you can feel it. Have you ever been to a part of town that wasn't so desirable and you feel the chaos, you feel the tightness, you feel the lack? And how do you feel when you go to a neighborhood that is more desirable? When you see people living leisurely, when you see people in nice cars, when you see people who have nice homes, notice how you feel in those different environments. It's always worth paying a premium to be in environments like that. In order to raise your vibration and refresh your mindset to live in abundance, you want to start taking risks. If you don't have a lot of money or you have a fear of being broke, you're actually in a good position to practice abundance. You've already survived not having a lot of money and you're fine. You survived it. So using that money to potentially put you in a better situation is worth the risk. You've already survived without money. So if you lose money again by investing in a life that could get you closer to abundance, it's okay because you know exactly what to do without having money. And if you already feel that you don't have enough money, then losing that money or the fear of losing that money shouldn't really exist because you already don't have enough. It's already not enough. So the opportunity or the potential to be able to have more if you circulate that money is worth way more than the money itself. In order to have an abundant mindset, you have to take risks and you have to have long-term vision and plan and long-term hope and faith. Abundance is vision, it's risk, and it's long-time reward. If you put in the work now, then you can live a life of abundance. Your children can live a life of abundance. If you do it, if you raise the frequency, if you elevate your family, then everybody after you can just ride that wave of abundance. If you do the hard work, if you make the sacrifices, then everyone behind you will be able to benefit from that. And lastly, you have to learn when to push and when to flow. I'm not saying when attracting abundance, you should sit back and do nothing. But what I am saying, you have to learn that flow. You have to learn that dance, that balance of, okay, now it's time to grind, but now it's time to sit back and receive. You have to have trust and faith that everything is working out for your good. You have to have trust that there's more than enough circulating and you can get in that circulation. You can get in that vibration where you can also receive what is already easily circulated. Whether you're getting it or not, it's in rotation. So just raise your vibration so you can receive it, so you can be the one to benefit from it because it's happening. It's out there regardless if you're getting it or not. There is money out here. It will literally blow your mind at the type of money that circulates. All right, y'all, that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope that you were able to take something away from this. And just remember, you can't grind your way to abundance. You can't force your way to abundance. When you align yourself, when you know that you're deserving of great things and raise your frequency and change your mindset, all the beautiful things that you desire will flow to you easily and effortlessly. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, like and comment. And until next time, shine bright and we'll talk soon. Bye.